wake up, it's time to be free. Wake up, was blind, now I see. Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Welcome. This is Jullien Gordon. Welcome to your Daily Jules, where I drop nuggets of wisdom to help you accelerate and increase your degrees of freedom. We've been duped by the education system and indebted, and it's time to break free from that and really get the information and knowledge that is necessary for you to have the freedom that you want. Not just financial freedom, but just freedom overall. Some people have financial freedom and no time freedom, right? So we got a great question from Demita, and she asked, how do I build my Shopify store? I don't particularly have a Shopify store, but I have sold lots and lots of products, and the same principles apply to a Shopify store that apply to selling any type of product. The biggest thing is one, the product, and then two, your marketing of the product. Those are the keys. So right now I want to talk to you about how to sell drugs. And the reason I say this is because we want your product, whatever it is, to be as addictive as a drug, because then people can't help but take out their wallet and buy it, right? And so a big part of a successful Shopify store is finding the right product and the right market. The right product, they call it product market fit, okay? They call it product market fit, PMF, okay? So how do we sell drugs? Yeah, FBI is probably going to come after me for this. So drugs is literally just an acronym for how to create something that's addictive or find. In your case, you're probably not creating the product. You're probably just looking for a product on Alibaba or something like that. You can also get tons of ideas from Amazon best-selling products, where literally people have found their way to become the best-selling product on Amazon, and then let's say it's a heater, electric blanket, or a cell phone case, or something like that. They found something that they probably didn't create. It's called drop shipping, that they didn't create, and they found ways to get it number one on Amazon, which allow them to get abundance from never even creating a product, right? Just finding the right product, the right market, and the right platform to market it on, okay? So, drugs. The first thing, the D, is the product has to be demanded. The product has to be demanded. Oftentimes we step out, and I'm guilty of it too. I have created products that didn't have a demand. I thought it was a good idea, right? A good idea is different than it being demanded. And so when something is demanded, then people are willing to actually pay for it. But if there's no demand, if you can't see any evidence, whether that's through Google searches, right? You can look for evidence with Google searches. You can look for Amazon results. You can look competitors. If you are getting weak results, either you are onto something huge, or since there's usually nothing new under the sun, what you think is a good idea is not demanded. And people may even tell you with their mouth that, oh, that's awesome, I would love that. But if you don't see any evidence of those things selling online, then it's probably not demanded. There's a difference between wanting something and actually demanding something, okay? So that's first and foremost. The next is that usually some of the best products are risk reducing. One of the best examples is Slap Chop, right? Slap Chop, which is the one where you hit the thing and it cuts up the onion. It doesn't work as well as it does in the infomercial, but it's risk reducing because one, slicing onions, because it's slippery, you could easily cut your finger, and this avoids you from doing that. This also, of course, reduces the risk of you crying because of the way it's designed, right? So when you look at some of the best products, they usually reduce some sort of risk for the consumer. Tesla, for example, is trying to do the automated driving, right? That is going to, some people think that's more risky, but in fact, it's safer than letting a human be behind the wheel. So this is risk reducing, okay? So that's the second example. And let's just say headphones. Like, risk reducing can apply to anything. Let's say headphones. My daughter has some new headphones that she got for Christmas that they actually, if she tries to plug them into her tablet, when the volume of it is max, it actually has some sort of mechanism in it that doesn't allow her eardrums to be what do you call them? Burst? Whatever language you use for that. It's never happened, so I've never had to use the language, right? But her headphones reduce the risk of her blowing out her ears because it has something within it. And these are specifically kids' headphones, okay? So that's an example of risk reducing. The next step is actually the fact that it should be somewhat unique. Right, so there can be a general market for something, but what is the uniqueness? What is the differentiator in your particular product or service that you're offering? I'm trying to look at something in my office right now that has a little bit of uniqueness. So I'll give you an example of one of my programs in the Freedom School, or actually all my programs in the Freedom School. What makes my programs unique is that they come with technology that I created called Successfully, that is an online fillable workbook. And as you fill in that workbook, it actually co-creates outputs for you. So for one of my programs, as you put in the avatar analyzer, as you put in who your avatar is and who your target market is, it actually creates Facebook ad copy, landing page copy, email copy for you automatically. So that's what makes my courses unique from somebody else who's just going to teach you about how to find your target market and just give you a whole bunch of information, but then you have to go figure out how to create the collateral that is actually going to allow you to reach your target market. So that's an example of uniqueness, okay? The other thing, the G, is that it has to be golden. It has to have some perceived value. Right? Demetra mentioned that she's trying to create a Shopify store to fund her nonprofit. Oftentimes we take ideas and we turn them into nonprofit because there's no inherent perceived monetary value. Gold is monetary. The dollar isn't even backed by gold anymore. Gold is literally more valuable than the dollar itself, right? So you have to know what the perceived value of it is. Warren Buffett says, price is what you pay, value is what you get, right? So when somebody sees a red shirt, two people can see a red shirt, one person values it at $25 and therefore is willing to pay up to $24.99 for it, whereas the next person may only value it at $15 because they hate red, right? And therefore is only willing to pay $14.99 up to $14.99 for that shirt. So you have to go out into the market and see what is the appetite for this, right? If it's demanded, how much is somebody willing to actually pay for what it is that I have? And you can see, you can go out there and try to model existing price points. Sometimes that works, but there's also psychology and studies that show if you take two pieces of jewelry, or let me give another example. Let's just say two pieces of art, right? And one piece of art has $100 price tag, and another one has $1,000. Despite the fact that they are both the same piece of art, the perceived people will, because of the price tag alone, people will perceive that one is more valuable. So you don't always want to model the market in terms of your pricing. Oftentimes that leads you to a red ocean. A red ocean is something where everybody is starting to compete on price. You see that in the pizza industry where all the pizzas have gone down to Little Caesars, Domino's, Pizza Hut. They're down to $5 to $8 for a pizza. Pizzas used to be like $15. So they're in a price war to the bottom. But they're going to keep slashing prices. This is why they've had to add on other things like wings and cheesy bread and things of that nature, because now they're no longer making money on the original business. Whereas I'll go to my local pizza spot and get one slice or two slices for $6. I'll pay for that. I'll pay $6 for two slices, whereas Pizza Hut and Domino's, and then they're in a price war and selling entire pies for $6, right? So you don't always want to model the market in terms of price. And then the other final thing is that It should be a solution to an existing problem. It should be a solution to an existing problem, right? It should meet some sort of need. And if it does this, a lot of these other things will also be taken care of. That will create demand. It will prove that it's risk reducing. It'll have some sort of golden element to it. If you are clear on the solution that it provides and what the problem is, right? You actually want to know, because the customer, all they're thinking about is the problem, right? So it has to be the solution to a problem, but you need to know how the customer languages this problem in their own mind, right? So iTunes, for example, is a solution to disorganized music. I remember when my music was in those CD cases and I had to flip pages, and if you couldn't make a playlist because then iTunes comes along with the iPod and makes your music easier to access and make your own playlist, be your own DJ. That was the solution, but the problem was that everything was on disc. You'd had to listen to one artist at a time and things of that nature until CD burners came along and things of that nature if you did that. But then the iPod was so big because it solved that problem for consumers. And your wealth will always be determined by the size of the problem that you solve. Your wealth will always be determined by the size of the problem that you solve. So that's how I think about launching any particular product, because what you define and what you answer for each of these things is going to be all up in your marketing copy, but it should also align with the conversation that is currently going on in the customer's mindset. And if you do that right, then you can literally launch off with one product that you found access to. It may be coming from India, wherever, that you feel is going to fit into a particular market here, and then you want to have the right marketing platform. Some people use Shopify, some people use Amazon, some people use Etsy, right? Literally, buy a rug from Morocco and put it on Etsy. Buy a rug from Morocco for $10, put it on Etsy for $100, because nobody else knows. You can't Google it, and you can't find it on Amazon, right? And so that person's making a $90 margin because they have the supply. So you need to have a unique supplier that people can't just Google it and find that product, because then we know a lot of people are price shoppers. So if you have a product that's kind of Googleable, people are just going to go look for the best price, and usually there's going to be somebody on the internet who's selling it for less than you, right? So this is why you have to know what's unique about your product as well. So that's the Daily Jewel in terms of how to launch a product or find a great product and put that up on Amazon or your Shopify store or eBay or whatnot and succeed. You want to be selling drugs. If you sell drugs, and you sell something essentially that's addictive, then you can create a rabid audience. So demanded, risk-reducing, unique, golden, and solution. And your product may not have all of these, but the more that it has, the merrier it'll be for you. Okay? So that is the Daily Jewel. I hope that was beneficial to you, Demetra, and I wish you the best on creating your Shopify store. Peace. I hope these mindsets, metaphors, and methodologies blessed you. If you desire more freedom, go to getfreenow.com to subscribe to the show on iTunes, YouTube, or Facebook, and get 4 of my best courses in the Freedom School for 100% free.